My next guest serves on the House Science, Space and Technology Committee. He is a big supporter of the space program. Congressman Paul Tonko is joining me from Washington to talk about the final shuttle mission. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Liz. It's great to join you and your viewers.
So what is your reaction to this in a historic day and also a little bit of a bittersweet day? Is America getting out of the space exploration business?
Well, we would hope not. You know, there have been talks of some private sector investment in that effort, but there's no mistaking that our investment as a government in the NASA program has enabled us to maintain a very strong presence in the global economics community. We have been able to be part of that global economy simply because we have invested in technology. Over the decades, we have advanced because of those investments. They have reached every angle of life. From healthcare to energy generation to communications. You just think of the giant steps forward that have been inspired by the technology invested through NASA, and it has enabled us to be that innovation leader over the last decades and inspired many people to choose technical careers. I'm an engineer impacted by those decisions when I was an adolescent because we had a vision, we had a drive, we had a passion that we embraced to be the first to land a person on the moon, and it was President Kennedy, I believe, that inspired many people to think of technology and what it could mean to the growth of our society and the benefits to our society.
Congressman, do you think that it's actually, more than anything else, a little embarrassing that now the U.S. is going to be essentially hitching rides with Russia, and Russia just increased the price? It's going from 50-some-odd million per astronaut to get to the space station, which is open until 2020, to more than 60 million, 63 in 2014. I mean, that's a lot of money per person, mind you.
Right. Right. And I think, you know, certainly we had developed a very strong presence in the space program. I feel dismayed that we're not going to be able to continue in that vein. I'm happy that the last flight and certainly the return was so successful. But great advancements have come because of those investments, and I think they should inspire us now as we look at an innovation economy, a clean energy economy in the global scene, and continue that sort of commitment, because without it, we don't grow. We need to inspire all of the intellect out there, the bright minds of America to invent and discover and explore and create and design and manufacture. Those are the kind of active verbs that keep a robust economy growing here in the United States.
You know, and it's also jobs, right? I mean, you have some 4,000 people who are also going to be out of work because of the end of this program. You know, you also have...
Look.
Please.
No, I was just going to say, look, we have this opportunity to invest in America's workers, to invest in jobs. I think NASA taught us that in order to stay ahead of the curve, to lead as a nation in the global economy. I believe that we have to invest in R&D, in research that enables us to create the new product lines that are not yet on the radar screen. And that's a sophisticated society acting its best. And I think we need to commit to that innovation economy. If it's not through the space program, it's through direct connection to science and technology.
Do you believe that the president leaves himself open to political shots? I mean, we already are seeing Rick Perry. Of course, he's, you know, from Texas. He is expected to probably run for president, accusing the president of leaving astronauts to hitchhike into space. I mean, he leaves himself open to this kind of criticism that he doesn't want the U.S. to be on the cutting edge.
Right. There is always a room for criticism in this business, but I think what the president has advanced in the positive is the investment in an innovation economy, a clean energy economy. And he knows that, you know, whoever resolves those concerns today of being energy self-sufficient, of going down new paths for energy generation and making certain that we conserve whatever the supply mix is of our energy resources, will be that go-to nation. They will be the exporter of energy, intellect, of design, of patents, of all sorts of discovery. And he has led us with investments through the stimulus package that enables us to establish historically largest investments in that energy innovation economy.
Just to be clear, though, this is all going on against a backdrop of this fight, this ongoing fight about the debt ceiling, which I want to get to in a minute. But you still believe, personally, that the country can afford to be in space?
I think that we can. I think that, you know, certainly there has to be a balance of revenues, of investments, and certainly of scrutiny, of accountability and transparency of whatever investments we make. But there has to be a commitment to invest in the future. Otherwise, we let down generations of workers, some yet unborn, that will require our sound thinking, our laser-sharp focus in this given moment of a tipping point for the nation and its history.
Okay, so what can you tell us now on to the less heady ideas from space to the debt ceiling? Sorry. But what can you tell us? We're hearing conflicting reports now. There either is or is not a deal in the making between the White House and House Speaker Boehner.
Right. There have been a lot of negotiations going on from various perspectives. As far as we know, there is not yet an agreement, but that can change by the moment here in Washington. What I do know is that we need a plan that addresses the jobs crisis in America. There's no stronger formula for success of responding to the given moment of crisis than creating jobs. The job creation that we can do is the formula for success against that would produce greater revenues. Creating jobs cuts spending, and producing jobs reduces the deficit. So it's a jobs crisis, and we need to invest. We cut programs that don't create jobs and therefore don't respond to America's working families and her middle class. So we enhance those programs that can grow jobs, and we save those that have been working, those that might provide for innovation, that will provide the jump start to the investments into new careers, new pathways that take us to the latest, most cutting-edge jobs. It's that sort of formula that creates the success. This focus that we have seen from the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives is to just target domestic discretionary spending, a very narrow wedge of the pie, Liz, that really reduces the investment that we require now to resolve the jobs crisis.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that, because there are colleagues in your Democratic conference who say they will not vote for any deal that touches any of these entitlement programs. Medicare and Medicaid, Social Security has been intermittently in the mix. Will you be able to vote for whatever deal the President strikes with Boehner if it includes Medicaid and Medicare cuts?
Look, it's all the devil's in the detail, and I will look at whatever plan comes before us and see what it means for job creation.
Okay.
In terms of the entitlement programs, we have gone through 2 reviews already without a COLA adjustment for our nation's Social Security recipients. They have paid a price already, and Medicare has been working well. We can strengthen that program. I want to see what the final package looks like in terms of providing for job growth in our economy. It will resolve many issues, including it will grow revenues and it will cut spending if we create jobs.
Okay.
Simple, clear, and easy.
If
I might make mention.
Please, go ahead.
If I might make mention of the Republican formula for success that we were dealing with yesterday on the floor, we spent hours of debate on a proposal that was labeled by the Wall Street Journal as absurd. It was denounced by the United States Chambers of Commerce, and it was also labeled to be bordering on some sort of gimmickry or mind-boggling in its insanity by Bruce Bartlett, who is the former economic advisor to President Reagan.
Right.
So everyone called it for what it was. It wasn't a real program. It was cutting the investments that we need to make, and it only resolved the issues through those cuts.
Okay, before I let you go, I just want to ask you briefly about something that specifically actually impacts New York. You're talking about jobs. It's possible that the state is on tap to lose $1.2 billion a year in Medicare funds for New York's teaching hospitals. There were a bunch of members of the New York congressional delegation who went into House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and said, no way, we're not going to support this. Were you part of that? And what can you tell us in terms of an update on that particular cut? Right.
I was part of that discussion. It was very forceful. The message was very clear. the leader has been outstandingly supportive. She was there for some of the concerns that New York had with the Affordable Care Act, and she's there again in regard to our teaching hospitals, our medical colleges, medical schools in the state of New York. And I believe the number, Liz, is as great as $1.3 billion. We cannot afford that kind of cut. The country cannot afford that kind of cut, because in order for the Affordable Care Act to function and function well and reach people with affordable, accessible health care, we need the human infrastructure. We need the trained MDs, the doctors that will deliver the services. And so this is, again, a foolish move that will cause a lot of pain, certainly for New York, but in a broader sense, the nation.